I'm Adam and I've been playing American football for about 3 years now. I just finished our last season.
American football in the UK has come a long way already. Players across the country are taking up the sport. This is starting in universities, such as Adam Hodges of the Gloucestershire Gladiators.
I've never really been I was never into it before uni, much like that sort of thing, and as soon as I came here I kind of knew that I always wanted to give it a go because I watched the NFL beforehand and thought it'd be a good game to get into.
However, are these players aware of the dangers behind playing the sport and what is being done to protect them?
Play fake, Green, Reggie Brown, popped by Junior Rose Green, he's down, the ball is out.
They're calling this a fumble.
They sure are, and Reggie Brown is still down.
Catastrophic injuries in football are rare, but they can be life-changing. Goal is to look at how improper conduct can lead to head and neck injuries. While injuries are inevitable in football, there are steps you can take to prevent serious injury. When the head is up, the neck muscles absorb forces through controlled motion, protecting the spine. However, with head-down contact, the cervical spine straightens, and in this situation the muscles cannot absorb the energy input. Axial loading is a mechanism where the player makes contact with the top or crown of his helmet. His head is acutely decelerated, but the momentum of the body continues, and the spinal column and spinal cord are literally crushed between the decelerated head and the continued momentum of the body. The spinal cord does not heal, causing the damage to be permanent.
Ready, go.
So today we're here with the Gloucestershire Gladiators at one of their many training sessions. We're here to learn more about the sport and talk to Coach James Wilford, the head coach of the Gladiators. The team's also going to walk us through how to tackle correctly, which is improving safety in the sport.
Down. That's it. Good job. Ready.
So Coach Wilford, what's the history of American football to you in the UK from playing and coaching it?
For me, I started when I was about 17. I joined my local team, it was a team in Gloucester back then. Started playing when I was 18, contact. After a knee injury, I've been coaching since just before I was 19. I've coached women's, youth, university and adult football.
What's any big injuries you've had to deal with as a coach or player that you've seen?
Yeah, American football's violent sport, so I've seen a lot of injuries. Concussions probably the most common. Lots of knee and ankle injuries, dislocated shoulders, broken legs, that kind of thing.
What can the sport of American football do to protect their players more from these serious head injuries?
Yeah, it's definitely equipment, as you mentioned, the helmet's definitely part of it. Other than that, I think the techniques, making sure we coach properly, safe techniques, and the drill behind me, we're running a head-up blocking drill, making sure we're not making contact head down, not making contact with the head, neck, or spine, preventing injuries through good coaching, good technique. Yeah.
Alright guys, we're going to run a 50% profile drill, okay? Profile tackling drill, okay? Key coaching points, we want the head to be behind, okay? We want to make sure we're not having head-on collisions, okay? Head goes behind, we're going to tackle with our shoulders, okay? And we're going to be making sure we've got near foot, near shoulder. So that means the same shoulder we're making the tackle with, that foot's going to be forward so we get the power, okay? Want to make sure we see good double uppercuts, okay? Shoot through those hips and grab high, grab cloth high and tight, okay? So we'll have you two guys as the ball carriers, you guys start on the white cone, Jack, Daff, if you want to start on the red cone as the tacklers, okay? And we're just going 50%, 45 degrees.
See you later.
Good arms, good arms. Good, and grab cloth. Good, we'll do 2 more. Good, right, bring it in. Really like the effort and intensity, okay? We had really good double uppercuts, and every time my head was behind, so that was really good, okay?
One of the biggest parts of player safety in American football is across the whole world is their equipment. So one of the biggest parts of the equipment is the helmets, and that's what we've got in front of us today. And I'm joined by Steve Cale, an American football player in the UK. So tell us a bit about yourself first of all.
I play for the University of Gloucestershire. I've just finished my final year playing American football and hope to go on and play senior ball for many years to come.
Okay, so how important are these helmets to player safety in the sport?
A lot of people think that they're as straightforward as all of them are the same, but they are quite different. I mean, we've got all different brands and different sizes here. The biggest thing for me is the weight and the face cage. So the first one I ever used was this one here, which is the Riddell Revolution. It is one of the cheaper ones because it's very standard. A lot of positions can wear them, as helmets are tailored to more positions than others. It is very heavy. I thought it was metal all over to begin with, but it's actually just a very heavy plastic. And it's very good because for the first year I was playing, it really reinforces that you're wearing a helmet and it really teaches your neck to get used to wearing one. I then found this in my last year, which is the one I currently use, which is the Shut Air XP Pro. And it's made of a lot more lightweight plastic. The bars on the front are a lot lighter, and it doesn't use air pads inside. It's all synthetic, which means that you don't have to worry about it deflating like the old one here, because this is actually an older model. And after about a year or two of playing, it's good because you start to get used to wearing the helmet, and you almost start to become a second nature. So that means that once you've spent a couple of weeks using it, you start to forget you from wearing it, which is the most important thing. A lot of players will be put off by it because they lose a lot of their vision, so you lose your peripheral vision quite quickly, which is something that a lot of people don't realise. It's the same like wearing a motorbike helmet.
Why did you feel the need to make those changes with your helmets? Was that in terms of safety, or was that just like comfort?
There is a very big safety point with this one. The most important thing with these ones is it uses these little things here, similar to like bike and ball pumps. But you can't tell if they're punctured, so these Z-pads here, which protect your cheekbones, for me, I think they're punctured, so I play about half a game and realise they're deflating, which means when you're wearing the helmet, it will jiggle a lot, and that is probably one of the most distracting things I found when playing.
And that can be dangerous as well.
Yes, of course, because if you get hit, it's not keeping your head in that structured position where the helmet's designed to protect you.
Where do you see them taking this equipment and making it that one step better and ensuring player safety?
I think it's just going to be with the advance of materials. So for example, they've taken the air out of the helmet and they've used a better material, more comfortable material.
Tell us about the injuries you've sustained from American football.
Biggest one's probably like head injuries by far. Head injuries, especially like my first helmet was the worst one. So. First year, in my first ever game, I wasn't really paying much attention because I didn't obviously know how the game worked too well, and coaching back then wasn't as good as it is now. So I didn't really have my head on the swivel, and just the next thing I know, I was looking up at the clouds, and I had no idea what had happened. And apparently, someone just flew into me, and I just hit the ground, and that was it really.
And how was that experience for you? How did that feel?
It was eye-opening, really eye-opening, because I kind of thought because I'd obviously never played a contact sport, and then as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, this is real, you know, this is.
Why did that because I feel like for many people, if that happened to them, it would put them off. Why did it give you this drive to become better? I
don't know. I've always had this sort of mentality of say if someone says, oh, you're not doing this right, or you're not very good at this. The only mentality I have is to go right. Well, I want to be good at it, and I want to be and prove not necessarily prove someone wrong, but more the fact of make myself better at it, because I think that made me a better person. After sustaining such a big concussion, it obviously made me realise that it was it was a real thing, and it can happen. So since then, I was so much more careful on the placement of where my head was in going into tackles and stuff like that, and I feel it's made me a better player just because of tackling form and being able to know where people are going to be and knowing how to protect yourself when going into a tackle and making sure you don't get hurt out the other end of it, you know.
So with everything the sport is learning, from coaches to players to helmet specialists, we've seen how tackling in a correct way can stop injury and actually prevent injury in the sport altogether. And we've also seen how helmets are progressing and what's the next step that they're going to take. But at the end of the day, safety in American football is what is important, and it's what's going to take it to the next level in the UK.